just started in the gym, you're trying to figure out a routine, and you want something quick, something easy, and something that produces results, I'm gonna do that. First off, if what you're trying to do is lose weight, then I'll make that real simple too. 1,500 calories, including what you drink, including any sauces, you get in that Chick-fil-A sauce, that barbecue sauce, anything like that. 1,500 calories, including all of that, and you'll lose weight every week. If you do that with what I'm about to show you, then it's gonna improve the results by a lot. All right, so as far as working out, there's only gonna be 3 exercises. Your 3 main exercises that are gonna be your bread and butter. That's gonna be something that pushes the weight away from you, something that pulls the weight towards you, and something for your legs. All right, so that's push, pull, legs. That's common fitness lingo. Anybody who's in the gym is gonna be familiar with that saying, push, pull, legs. Sometimes they even call it PPL for short. I'm gonna show you how to do each one of those exercises, and I'm gonna show you how much you should lift and how many times you should lift it. Okay, let's get started in reverse order, so we're gonna start with legs first. Anytime you do legs, you're gonna wanna start with your feet about shoulder width apart as standard, and you wanna make sure that your toes are lined up. You do wanna make sure that they're even. You can check this by squeezing your glutes, see if your hips rotate. If they do rotate, that means that they are not even. Look, I take a step forward and you can see how much my hips rotate when I squeeze my glutes. All right, so I take a step back, I double check, I make sure that my body's all lined up, my shoulders and my legs, and I'm about to do an exercise called the goblet squat. So I pick up the weight and I hold it like a goblet, like it was a chalice that I was presenting someone. Here's another grip that you can use. In case you don't want to use the underhand grip, you can grip it like that, or you could just use a kettlebell, end up with the same results. But I'm gonna do it the traditional way. And what you want to do is you want to squat down, put your elbows onto your thighs, inside of them, and then come back up. You want to keep your chest forward. Here's me doing it with the other grip. You want to keep your chest up and looking forward, and then come back up, real easy. Here's a couple things that people usually do wrong. As you see me squatting down, I'm lifting my toes and I'm also bending over forward. I'm not keeping my chest up looking in front of me. So what you can do is you can grab 2 of these small weights, place them where you're about to squat at, all right, and then stand on the edge, and that'll keep your heels from coming up while you're squatting. But you'll still have to be mindful to keep your chest up, because look, you can still put your chest down. So I fix the heels, but I have to keep my chest up myself. Look up to the ceiling, and that's a good way to do it. Or you could just look straight. Just don't look down, okay? So you don't want to do it like that. You want to do it like this. If you don't have those small plates available to step on, you can use one of these big ones. That's a 45-pound right there. And just do the same thing. Put your heels about shoulder width apart and just get ready to do the goblet squat as you normally would, and it'll keep your heels from going up. So I pick up the weight, and I'm doing the squat all the same, keeping my chest up. All right, now I have to figure out how much I can lift. So I start with a low weight and I gradually work my way up to a higher weight each time. And I do it a couple times and I figure out where my limit is, which weight it is that I can do 1 to 3 times while still maintaining good form or struggling too much. All right, so once I figure that weight out, then I go and I write that down. All right, once you get pretty good at goblet squats, then the next thing that you're gonna wanna do is this barbell squat. So I'm gonna show you how to set it up, and I'm gonna show you how to perform the exercise. First thing you wanna do is get the bar where you need. This right here is a little bit too tall for me. So if I go up here, I like it a little bit shorter than that, but when I go heavy, I don't have to go on my tippy toes or something to get up there. So I take the bar off, and I adjust the knees so that they're a little bit lower. Now with the bar back up there, I like it so that I have to bend my knees and stand up, do a mini squat when I get it up. Next thing is going to be the same as far as the toes. Make sure your toes are matched up. Squeeze your glutes, make sure your hips aren't twisting. And when you go down, keep your chest up, just like you do when you do the goblet squats. You don't want to do the main thing that I see a lot of people do, and that's bend over and bend back. Because then you're putting too much of your back into it, and that's bad. So this is what you don't want to do. A lot of people do that to varying degrees. Sometimes it's just subtle like this. You don't want to duck the bar low. You want to squat the bar. So put your hips back. Keep your chest up and look forward. You want this bar to go straight up and down, not forward and back. So straight down, straight back up, and look forward. So I'm gonna show you how I set up squats from this angle. I go back, I make sure my toes are even, I make sure my hips are square, so I squeeze my glutes, and when I go back, I'm gonna stick my hips out and keep my chest up, and I'm gonna go down to at least when my thighs are parallel even with the floor. You can go lower, but the minimum depth you wanna go is so that your thighs are parallel with the floor, so the inside of your knee is making a 90-degree angle like the corner of a square. Here's me doing a couple going lower, but you just want to hit that minimum at least. What you don't want to do is what I said with the goblet squat, where you're leaning forward and lifting your heels. If you do, then you're going to want to go and get those weights again, and you're going to want to squat using those weights to keep your heels not going up, and you want to keep your chest up looking forward. All right? Another thing a lot of people use are these pads. So if you do use one of these pads, try to get one that has the divot in the middle, because if you get a straight pad, what it does is it makes the bar sit up higher, and then that can irritate your neck sitting up here. And that's right in front of my neck. That's when it has the divot in the middle. If it doesn't have this in the middle, then it'll sit even higher. I have stopped using that, and I got my back used to using the bar on its own. So now it sits here. So it's along my shoulders, but not up here on my neck. The other thing most gyms have is these safety bars. They help you when you're squatting, so that if you can't lift the weight, you won't end up hurting yourself. I'll show you how it works. I set mine pretty low, but you can change it to any of these hole sizes that you see behind me, to raise it or lower it depending on your height and how you feel comfortable. Add these clips on each end to keep the weights from slipping. Purchase one of these weightlifting belts to keep your core stable while you lift. Okay, the next exercise is deadlift. If you only did one exercise and never another one, then this is the one that you want to do. I'm going to do a voiceover and show you how to do it. I'm going to set it up step by step. Pay close attention because it has a bit of a learning curve. So as I get ready to deadlift, I'm gonna make sure that the bar is even left to right. I'm gonna make sure that my toes are even again and that they're a little bit wider than my shoulders, whatever's comfortable for you. You can go a little bit more narrow than your shoulders. I'm gonna make sure each side of the bar is the same distance away from me and that my shins are also the same distance. I'm gonna show you from another angle. When I step up to the bar, you see my shins are equal distance from each side of the bar and it's cutting my foot in half, almost right touching my leg, okay? And you see that part right there is matching each side. The distance from each side is the same, okay? When I get ready to go down, I'm not gonna bend my knees. I'm just going to put my hands in front of me and I'm gonna hinge backwards. I'm gonna stick my butt out as far as I can without bending my knees. After I'm as far as I can, then I bend my knees and I grab the bar. I want my back to be straight. You're gonna think your back is straight, but it's not. You actually have to push your back in because that feels like it's straight if you don't know. But once you push your back in and stick your stomach out, then it's actually straight. The weight on the bar is really stable. I can even rock backwards and that weight will hold me up. I'm showing you from this angle real quick how I'm equal distance and I'm stable. Put your weight on your heels, keep your back straight, and then lift the bar up, dragging it along your legs, and then stand straight up. Here's it from this angle. Drag along your legs, stand straight up. Once you get up, do not lean back. Don't hyperextend. You just want to stand straight up with good posture. And then when you go back down, you want to do the exact same thing you did to get into the position in the first place. Stick your butt out and let it go down along your legs. Be mindful of your knee. I'm gonna start with a low weight and I'm gonna work my way up to figure out how much I can lift 1 to 3 times, the maximum weight that I could do. And I'm gonna use my hips during this exercise. That's the correct way to perform it. You want your hips to go back and you want to drive your hips forward. Don't think about your back, don't think about your knees. Just stand straight up while you're driving your hips with that motion. And finally, bench press. The first thing you need to know is don't lay down flat on the bench like you're about to take a nap. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna lift your shoulders up, back, down, right? So your shoulders are back and your chest is out. That'll be the gap between your back. That'll protect your shoulders so you never get injuries while you're bench pressing, okay? The second thing that you're gonna wanna do is make sure that your eyes are right below the bar when you start benching. Next thing is to make sure that your feet are planted firmly on the ground so that you're really strong with your feet. That's because you're going to want to be able to flex your legs and really push your feet into the ground when you bench press. You want to get your whole body into it, not just your arms. Next, grab the bar like you're trying to punch the ceiling and lift it up like you're punching towards the ceiling, and don't flip your wrist backwards. That's bad for your wrist. You want to always be punching the ceiling. The width that you want to grab the bar is a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. You have these rings on it, so you want to make sure on each side you match the finger that's on the ring. So if your pointer finger is on the ring on this side, make sure it's on the ring on the other side. Right now, I'm going to put my ring finger on the ring on each side. The next thing is you're going to want to bring the bar down to your sternum, right below your chest. So when it's over you, it's right over the front of your chest. When you bring it down to your sternum, right below your chest. You want to make sure you don't flare your arms straight out. You want your arms at an angle. You want from your elbow to your hand, you want that pointed straight up, but from here to here, you want to bring it in towards your ribs. Bring it in. Don't have it out here. That's bad. Bring it in. So how far in? You want about 45 degrees in. So if this is 90, this is 0, you want it right in between those two places. And that's where you want to bring it down and then bring it back up. Not here, it's here. And that's it, that's all three. All right, and now that you figured out how much you can lift on each one, you need to figure out how much you're gonna work out with, because those are two different numbers. So however much you can lift between 1 to 3 times, we're gonna take that number and take 80% of that, okay? It's a little bit of math, all right? So you just multiply it by 0.8. So for example, if you could lift 100 pounds on the goblet squat, then you will work out with 80 pounds. And then what you wanna do once you know that number is you wanna do 5 sets of 5. So that means that you're going to do the exercise 5 times, take a break, do it again for a total of 5 different times that you do it, 5 times each. You can do all 3 of these exercises on one day, or you could split them up into different days. If you want to split them up into different days, which is the traditional way to do it, once you become a little more advanced, beginners usually do them on one day. But once you reach that intermediate to advanced level, I'll make another video show you some extra exercises that you can do to each one. So if you're doing the push day, I'll show you extra exercises that involve pushing. And then on pull day, likewise. And on leg day, I'll show you some extra leg exercises that you can do also. I'll also try to get an ab exercise video up here. and whatever else I'm asked for. And that's it. Thanks.